Hi everyone, I'm FOX61 Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank, and welcome to From the FOX61 Archives. We all know that Connecticut can get some serious storms in January, and that's exactly what happened back in 1996, 2018, and 2022. We got blizzards here in Connecticut, and here's a look at some of our coverage.
When we get a northeast wind down here, we got a problem. Long Island Sound is a catch basin, and it just catches, from Montauk and pushes right in here and with a northeast wind. Sometimes it's worse here on a northeast wind than it is with a hurricane.
High winds and high tide and the blizzard have folks who live in shoreline communities concerned. Firefighters are keeping a close eye on the water and expect some flooding when high tide hits around midnight.
At that point, we're sure we're going to have the flooding. We'll come out of our warning system. We have a new warning system in Milford, and it signs a tone and its voice activate, tell people to start evacuating, move their vehicles high ground.
This is what the city did.
2 feet of snow or more is on the way here, and folks say they have to battle the blizzard and the plows all night long.
They want us to get out when we get flooded, but they block us in. We can't get out with our cars. They just plow us in.
No mandatory evacuation is in force, but an evacuation center has already been set up at the Milford Senior Citizen Center on Jebsen and High Streets. Firefighters say they will help anyone who wants to play it safe and head there. Meanwhile, they watch the water and prepare for what they may have to do before tomorrow's 12 o'clock noon high tide. Evacuate.
The weather report for it is we probably will have to. And we got hundreds of homes, as you know, along the shore.
It's going to ice up later on tonight. So when is your son driving?
State Police and the Department of Transportation using video cameras monitoring I-95 at 3 dozen locations, and there is not much traffic to monitor.
As of today, because of the people listening to the governor advising them to stay home, it is very quiet.
More than 880 state plows and private contractors are attacking the 15 to 26 inches of snow that poured down in the blizzard. And many roads look safe, but looks can be deceiving.
Motorists may get a false hope that, the snow's over and it's okay to go out there. And if this, that's maybe the scariest part, 'cause if it freezes up, it could be even slicker than it was all day.
Freezing snow and slush aren't the only problems. Snow plows will probably be operating overnight and during the day tomorrow because of drifting snow.
In other words, if it stops snowing tonight, then we'll still be battling the drifting. We'll still be going back doing streets because of the drifting snow. So if it stays windy all night, but it stops snowing within the next half hour, we can still be out plowing and sanding the rest of the night into tomorrow.
I advise them to stay off the roads because even though in some places there may not be a lot of snowfall, there's whiteout conditions out there and slippery conditions out there.
With zero visibility in some places, officials say driving is not only dangerous, but it can also keep state workers from doing their job.
We have 632 state plows out there, 250 contractor trucks, and like I say, a number of equipment repair personnel and the payloader operators, clerks. They all form the team to fight against this blizzard.
Many airlines tonight losing the battle against this latest nor'easter. At Bradley International, many airlines canceling and delaying flights. U.S. Air, the first airline to completely shut down, canceling all flights until 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
I've been traveling since like 6 this morning from Myrtle Beach, and I'm trying to get to LaGuardia. I don't really know why I'm here, but hopefully I'll get there in a few days or something.
You're stuck for the night?
Yeah, at least, because they said there's nothing tomorrow either.
Many travelers running into roadblocks because major airports from Washington, D.C. to Boston are shut down. Bradley feeling the effect of the airport closing. While it's still open, travelers can expect delays tonight and tomorrow.
If the storm does come through like it's expected to and we get 15 or 20 inches of snow, all the aircraft will have that much snow on the wings and the fuselage, and it takes a long period of time to get that snow off before they can depart. So you're looking at extensive delays with the icing.
As night falls, the temperatures will continue to drop here in Tolland, and the conditions will continue to deteriorate, especially with that wind. As you can see, it's picking up and alternating. It's creating this sort of effect where if the snow hits your face, it's almost like icicles against your skin. It's a very prickly sensation. But here in a parking lot, here in the Big Y in the shopping lot, there have been plows that have been coming and going, but the snow will just get blown right back into place. We had a chance to talk to a couple of people, and they say they're going in for some bread and milk, some other last-minute items here at the Big Y, but this is one of the few businesses that is open. We had a chance to go around the area. We talked to public safety officials, and we talked to a whole bunch of other people. Here's what some of them had to say.
We try to prepare ourselves out here, but the biggest thing is people at home should also prepare themselves that if they had to evacuate or leave their house, try to come with your supplies. Not every shelter might have supplies, so try to bring your blanket, your essentials. And the biggest thing that people forget about are their animals and their loved ones. So make sure that you put a kit and a comfort kit together for your pet.
It is crazy. There are some cars you can barely see. That's, I was driving behind a truck and all of a sudden it disappeared and it turned into a van. And I was like, how did that happen?
Of course, we will continue to keep an eye on the conditions out here. You can stay in touch using your free FOX61 smartphone app, and hopefully you can watch us on television and on Facebook from someplace warm. Reporting in Tolland, Javan Vital, FOX61 News. On this Friday, a New England tradition continues.
When I came outside, I was like, my God.
Merle Antoine is being a good neighbor. She and her nephew are shoveling out the sidewalk.
We have to expect that. New England for you. But I like, when I hear it's gonna snow, I'm like, snow a lot. But then I have, that's when you have help. Oh my gosh, if my husband was there, it would be much better.
Merle's husband, by the way, is in St. Lucia visiting family. Several degrees of separation from East Hartford, where the dig out isn't just neighborly, it's also mandatory.
It's important that residents know that they have a certain period of time here in East Hartford. By ordinance, it's 8 hours after sunrise following the storm to get their sidewalks clean. At that point, we'll start sending inspectors around.
Clearing sidewalks keeps pedestrians safe and potentially keeps homeowners out of legal trouble. When it comes to other areas, such as bus stops or public spots, the burden is generally split, with everyone being asked to pitch in. The attention to detail, even more important if you're located near a fire hydrant.
It may be difficult for a fire crew to respond, to actually have to dig in around a hydrant that is not presently frozen, but could be frozen with these cold temperatures.
As neighbors continue to help neighbors, one shovel at a time.
So we're doing it now, it's a good thing.
The U.S. Postal Service's unofficial motto talks about snow being among the elements that won't prevent couriers from swift completion of their appointed rounds. This poor letter carrier had to be pulled out twice today.
This storm has been a challenge. It's cold. It's come down very quickly in a very short period of time, but our guys are working hard to get the snow off the road. We ask people to be patient.
Among the DPW's biggest challenges, minor flooding at both Cedar and Bayview beaches, which the residents are used to when a major storm comes ashore during high tide.
My car is parked up the street. We knew this was going to happen. Every time someone says strong winds, we know this is going to fill up.
But for how many beautiful days we have down here, winter, spring, summer, and fall, it's well worth it.
Both women say they've lived through Irene and Sandy here at Bayview.
People would say, oh, I feel so bad for you. And I say, well, you know what? At least our old cruddy house is still standing. We have one. Could be worse.
but it could soon be better.
We have a $1.2 million project to fix the outfall pipes, raise the roads incrementally, and fix the catch basins and stuff to alleviate some of the flooding that's going on down here.
But first things first, now that the snow is done, DPW is on the clock to plow some of the seawater and snow mixture away before it freezes.
And then when we're done plowing, we've got to get them back into our wash bays and wash all the trucks and get them nice and clean to get the salt water off of them.
As I looked out the door this morning, I was like, okay, I got my work cut out for sure.
Saturday's blizzard in eastern Connecticut dumping upwards of 20-plus inches of snow in many areas. For Steve Lamoureux, who lives in the Quaker Hill section of Waterford, his unofficial total was much higher than that with the drifts.
Yeah, I had 3 feet of snow in front of my garage before I could even get my blower out to start this mess. And we'll be at it for a while.
Over in New London, which had almost 2 feet of snow, Martin Gonzalez is trying to stay positive.
I like this time of the year, but with this kind of snow, oh no, it's too much snow.
After spending several hours during Saturday night's blizzard, Martin is back at it Sunday morning, working to get his car out, shovel by shovel.
And I start now because, it's soft now. Later it's gonna be more, heavy, so now it's a little bit more easier to take it out.
And depending on where you are in the state, snow totals range from several inches to a couple of feet, like where Martin lives. But there is good news. You see, the storm is behind us, and we could see temperatures in the 40s later this week. On Snow Patrol, I'm Sean Pagano, Fox 61 News.